Hello, welcome to another of my YouTube tutorial. I'm sorry I could not drop a tutorial yesterday because I was a little tied up with shoot. So today I still want to do a retouching on this image. I have realized that whenever I do retouching on any image, there are always difference between the one I did before and the new one. So today I picked this image that I shot with, if I'm not lying, 3 lights. Yeah, 3 lights. I'm sure I shot it long ago, so I don't really know. Let me check the information. I don't really know the exact things I used in shooting the image. Here is the lens 50mm 1.8 and focal length 50 millimeter exposure, blah 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 blah. Yeah. So, and it has been long I shot this image. I'm sure the date is supposed to be somewhere. Creation date, yes. Shot it around February. Yeah, shot it around February 28th. So maybe that's the reason why I'm a little confused. I had to keep a red gel this way and a blue gel with one headlight. I added a grid on the softbox so the light wouldn't be that harsh. So the settings I did on Lightroom are not much. I just had to touch few things. You see, I just touched few things. Let me see. This is the before and this is the after. Not much of a difference. I had to reduce some of the red because I am not a fan of so many red on my images. So this is just the difference. So at this point, the first thing I would like to do is to duplicate the image, then come to crop, keep it on my normal aspect ratio 8/10. Let me zoom in and see. I think this area is good enough for me, but let me give more headroom to my shot. Yeah, so I think I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the image like this, so I'll say okay. Yep. So this is how the image is now. So next thing I want to do is I can duplicate the layout, the background image, and start working on it, which I have already done in some other tutorial. But there is another way that you can also use, which is you create a new layout, pick this what are they calling, spot healing brush, and then I think it's when you on sample or layout, it's going to be working with every layout it sees. So at this point I want him to be picking from this layout. That's why I have to sample it. If I turn it off and I start painting, nothing will happen. It's still the way it is. But if I turn it on and start cleaning, to start taking from the underline layout. So for this mark I want to leave it. A lot of times I normally remove them when I really don't want it to be there, but for this work I am going to leave it. Like I said, there are several ways that you can use for your frequency retouching, which I'm going to be covering them one after the other. And for this tutorial I think I want to do both frequency separation and dodge and burn. So it would be nice if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get more notification whenever I post a new video. Like those that did that, they were expecting a video yesterday, they didn't get it, so the video will be up every Wednesday, so it would be nice if you subscribe. So sometimes it look like you have not done anything, but when you check your before and after, you find out that you have actually done a lot on the image. So okay, at this point I'm going to create another empty layout. Use brush, reduce my flow to about 1. Sorry, I will click around here and paint here. Yes, because I really don't want this area to be flat. So first, when you see me painting, you might not know I've really done anything there till I show you the before and after. Darkening that line because it was too obvious. So let me use the eraser tool and clean the excesses. Okay, I think I'm okay with that, but it's not looking too natural, so I'll still have to add a little so there will be curve there. Let me say add from here, paint here. Yeah, paint here, cover here a little. Yeah, cover. All right, so let's see, this is the before and this is the after. We are coming up gradually. I said today I was not going to use Retouch Academy because a lot of you feel like if you don't have Retouch Academy you can't retouch an image very well. So today I'm working without Retouch Academy. So the next thing I'll do, I'll measure layout with Ctrl Shift Alt E. Then I duplicate it twice. I will name the first one color and still put low, so you know color is the low layout. Say okay. Then the up one I will say texture and high. The reason is the down one, what we want to do, we want to separate the color from the texture. So we are leaving the texture on the top layout and leaving the color on the down layout. That down layout now is the one we normally call the low frequency. So I will have to off the texture layout and work on the colored layout. I'll add blur to the color. Now you're adding a blur according to how the texture of the image is. Right here I'm still seeing texture, so I'll keep it around here. I think around here is fine for me. I'm still seeing some texture, but the major textures are gone. So at this point I'll say okay. If I on the top layout, it seems like nothing has been done to the image. So when I click it, I come here. So I want to apply the texture in this in the down layout, the texture in the down layout to this one, so it will be left with just the color. So whenever I go down to that down layer, whenever I want to work, I will just be working on the color. So on default, when you open this up, this is how it is. It's not seeing anything. So this layout, you want, instead of merge, you want to change it to low. When you change it to low, you see that the image starts changing already. This is how it was. When you change it to low, there's a little blur on the image. Then you come here, you change here to subtract. Now when you come to subtract, you start seeing more textures than color. A lot of colors have been taken away. So in the skin, you see more of the black in the skin. So when you change the scale to 2 and change offset to 128, this is what you get. You get 50% gray. So when you get 50% gray, I think you're set to go. At this point, all you need to do is just click OK. So when you say OK, it seems like you have destroyed everything. Then you come to blend mode, change the blend mode to linear light. When you change the blend mode back to linear light, it's same as nothing was done to the image. So at this point, I don't know, let me group this. Add this to a group, call the group frequency. Let me just leave it like that, not much writing. So at this point, I want to be working on this image direct. So I will not be offing texture to work. The same result they produce, but I want to be working direct here. So instead of me using normal brush to work or lasso tool or whatever, I use my paintbrush tool. I keep my wet at 0, leave everything as it was when the software came, just like the plugins and the Photoshop. They are default. The only thing I'm changing is the wet. But when you bring this brush here on a normal, it will be like this. It will be like when you paint. Sorry. Now let me look for an empty layout and start painting. This is what you get when you start painting. Wow, it's fine. I like texture, and I'm seeing texture everywhere. Wow. So that's what you get when you just start painting. So when you get there, the first thing you want to do is off this one. When you off, you start painting, you won't see that anymore, like you're not painting anything. And you know one thing about brushes, when they see layout, like they just see layout anywhere, free layout, and there's color, they start working immediately. Let me go back to normal brush. They start working normally, like they want to show themselves. So instead, as I'm in the paintbrush, so the thing I want to do is, this is the color layer. So with these settings and this other brush turned off, all I want to do is, now first let me still show you this so we won't be making mistake here. Let me change my brush back. Let me show you this. Let me use let me use blue. So around here I'm seeing much highlight than here. Around here, this my brush is too big. Around here I'm seeing more highlight. Around here I'm seeing more highlight. Around here I'm seeing more highlight. So take note of all these highlights when you're painting on this highlight, so you don't paint the white into the highlight into the dark shades. So like this, so you take note of all these light areas, leave this place. I was just showing you an example. So now when I want to start working, when I come to my brush, I'll start painting slowly. What I'm doing is I'm making a gradient fill on the image. Let me open a new workflow and show you what I'm talking about. let me say, yeah, whatever. So in this spot now, let me say I have now I have two color, like here and here. I have maybe gray, and when you look at these two image, what you see is you just see a line separating this color from this color. But let me put this aside. But when you see a gradient, like, yes, this is a perfect example. When you see a gradient, you just see a flow, like you don't know where this one is stopping, where this one is coming out from. You just see a flow. So if I could get these two color, like, let me keep it like this and measure layout. If I could use the paintbrush and make these two color like this, like make the transition smoother, make it work, you will not be seeing the direct line of where the other colors started from. All you'll be seeing is the fact that the colors are blended together. It will not be like a gradient. So that's what we're trying to create on that other image. We're trying to make sure the transition is smooth, because sometimes when girls do their makeup, maybe they sweat, maybe the sun, maybe the makeup gets rough, you just started feeling like maybe the skin is just not fine or something. So instead of that, as a retoucher, what you do is you balance it. You don't want people to see the rough part of the image. You just want people to feel like, wow, this thing is just too cool. So it's your work to do at that point. So I will continue with the work. You see around here, you see that I've already started removing some of those rough parts of the image. So I will continue from where I stopped. So I'll keep painting, paint on my colored layout, paint. Now if I paint too much on one particular area, you see start getting rough. So this is my color area, this is my highlight. So I'm trying to blend the highlight on its own, not to blend it with a darker color. So since I'm trying to create that gradient feel from dark to light, from light to dark, you just find out that it's coming out well. Instead of you finding out where the highlight stops, you just see the smooth transition. Now sometimes when you shoot, your highlight might be very harsh. By the time you reduce highlight, you find out that okay, a little of the highlight has gone, but you still don't want people to know where your light is coming from, how you shot the image. Then this is where you could do all that. So I'm trying to just blend it, painting it like, okay. Don't, whenever you are doing a frequency retouching, it would be nice if you don't rush it. Just take your time, paint, take your time. Don't allow some of these clients rush you. Please, I need my job very fast. Then you start rushing. At the end, that client might end up insulting you that what you did is not fine or something. So instead, to be nice, if you just take your time and work. And another thing you notice as I'm working is, as I'm working, I'm not smoothing the image like what people would do with portraiture and noise where I'm not doing that. I am working hard here, but my textures are not touched. So imagine me working on a more textured image. You see that the textures will be stronger without even me sharpening the image. because a lot of times after shooting I don't even bother to sharp the image. I just make sure I'm aiming right, and I think very soon I'll be doing videos on that too, behind the scene. I will just maybe go to a location, and when I'm about shooting with any of my models, I will just do a behind the scene and I'll talk about why I'm shooting the way I'm shooting. If you take note, something just went wrong here, around here. Let me undo. Okay, you see, I almost took away that highlight there, which, let me see. Okay, which I'm going to bring back using dodge and bomb. So you might not see much of a difference right now, because maybe to you the image is supposed to be smooth, but around here that's not what we do. Like I always tell you, if you're doing it, if you're painting this way and it's not fast, maybe it's because you're using a mouse, or if you're using a Wacom pen and it's still not fast, then trust me, it's just more practice. When you practice more, you see that you start doing better. So I think I've done a lot without knowing. I've really done a lot. Around here I don't feel too okay. Let me still paint up here. I'm trying to not rush too much on this tutorial like I have been doing in some others. I just want this one to be different. Okay. Yes. It's all about choice. You can decide to say, okay, you want to create another frequency layout, it's left for you. But at this point, then I come to the high layout. Now I want to work on textures. Before I was working on color. Now let me work on the texture. Like at this part of the lip, I don't like these things I'm seeing, so I want to correct that. So I will go to the clone stamp to sample current layout, just texture, sample from here. So if I sample somewhere around here and start painting, you see that I'm just making the textures there. Okay, so I'm really not a fan of, I don't know what that is called, but making your mouth looking very wild. I think I'm okay here. And let me see. Okay, I'm going to mask here and use brush, normal brush, and clean. Sorry. Let me just undo that, sorry. Oh. When you come across things like this, one other way you can fix this is just clone one of the layer, put it above to bring up everything, then shift alt mask to act like nothing is there. Then you use your white brush, 100% fluence, 100% opacity, then you start painting back. what I'm seeing happen in the process of the frequency retouching, where I went too close to the lip. So okay, so here we go. Just a little touch made the difference. So at this point I am merging all layout again. So when I merge, what I want to do is off all this, so I know I have just these two. So the next thing I want to do here is come to curve, name this one bone, reduce it, let me add a little red, yes, then blue, and a little, yes. So I'll close that, go to highlights, just increase, and I think I want to add a little red on that too. Okay, so at this point what I'll call this one the dodge, and I place them in a group, call it D and G. Then when I open it, I'll press Ctrl I to invert that, Ctrl I to invert this. So this is how the image is naturally. Then I'll add one black and white. So the reason why when you add this, let me see, I come back to black and white instead. Let me remove this. When I'm using this black and white, I can try to see the highlight and know exactly where the highlights are. So of this, so you can see when you open your frequency retouching panel, the black and white is not this strong, so you don't really know that this is exactly where the highlights are. So at this point, what I want to do is, first I want to burn. Normally bring my brush down to around 10. Then change the brush to white and then start painting on the dark areas. Start painting. The image is looking very ugly right now. Very, very ugly. But actually this is like, in my department in school, this is like art. A lot of people want to buy this. So first of all, you, the owner, have to believe that this is an art. Then when you see people appreciating it too. So I could paint around here, to paint here, to give the image dimension. If you don't want your image to have dimension, you don't want it to have that feel like it's real, you don't have to go through this stress. So I think I'm darkening it the more. So I go to my dodge. At this point I paint on the light areas. If I don't off the frequency retouching, I might not see some of the lights on the dark, because in the process of creating the gradient I might have lost some of the light. So that's why dodge and burn is very important. After you do frequency retouching, you have to bring back the light, because even God, I believe God was a photographer. That's my own opinion, because he never joked with light. Before he wanted to do anything, he had to bring up light. So as you can see, I'm working on the light, working on the light, working on the light. So I on back this and I off this. So this is how far we go. As you can see around here, I have done some. I think let me still paint down here so the last side won't be looking too harsh. Yep, I have done so much burning on this image. So at this point, let me still touch the under. I know some of you know that song. I don't even know the title of the song, but it's fine. I will not be crucified. So to some persons, they will just leave the dodge and burn this way, but trust me, I like reducing it. For this one, let me just keep it high so you too can see it. Yes, it's okay now. I think it's fine for me. Delete the black and white. So yeah, let me zoom in. Here is our before and here is our after. Wonderful, right? I so love this. So at this point, to some persons the work is finished, to some persons they want to add more things to the work. So for me, I'm going to come to selective color, see how I can play with my yellows, little cyan. See, sometimes when you play with these things and you just to amaze you what you get at the end. I think I'm increasing more yellow. Go to the red, play more with the red. Okay, better. Make the image. This thing is just the way you want the image to be. I like adding black here. Let me just add one plus one plus one. So then I go to my curve. Normally just move. Curve is one wonderful thing that is very hard to learn. You will learn curve for a long time. You end up not producing anything nice. And then I go to my shape, which I'll bring it down a little. Bring this up. Then I will now create a general curve. I'll bring this up a little. The more you bring it up, the more the image gets brighter and brighter and brighter. So just keep it around here. Let's see before and after. Okay. I think this is fine for me. It's fine for me. Then at this point, if I decide to sharpen the image, I might just say, okay, let me go back to camera raw. Ctrl Shift A, go back to camera raw and see how much texture I can put in through camera raw. The texture is fine. Let me just add a little. Wow. Add more texture. Keep around here the radius. Radius should be around. I'm increasing it so high so you too can see what I'm doing. Then use your mask to make sure it's just working in those places where you want it to be. If you keep it like this, you see nothing. So you want it to work around here. So let me keep it this way first. When I bring it back, the image would be shiny. But there is one thing people don't always look at. When they bring it back, you're supposed to check if the edges are getting darker. Okay, to me, it doesn't happen all the time. To me, the edges are not getting darker. The whole image is just being sharp. Just reduce it. Ctrl J, mask this out, increase my opacity, paint around here, paint around here, then measure layout. I think I want to add more light to the lip here. I'll just touch it. I'm using the inbuilt dodge brush. Add more light here, which I forgot to do before. Let me see if I can increase here a little. Then come over here, increase. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Okay, right now it's too much. Bring it down, bring it down. Still want to mask. I love masking. Still want to mask some places out. Some areas are not too okay. So we have gone a long way, long tutorial for this class. So as you can see, we have done so much for this image. So this is it for the class today. This is not a color grading class, so if I'm going to color grade this image to post, I'm not going to color grade it because I want you to start seeing color grading in this class. Maybe in another class I will show you how to color grade your image. There's one more thing I could do. I could just increase, mask it out. In one tutorial, I think you guys are learning a lot, learning so many things in one tutorial. I could just use my brush, paint. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want the makeup to be enhanced. You can see, but it's too harsh, so I still reduce it, and I reduce a lot. Okay, let me see if I could darken the lashes a little. Just burning, we burning. Oh, I've done too much already. Okay, so yeah, let me keep this around 20. So that's it, yo. So if there is anything you don't understand, go back and watch the tutorial over and over again. Then you will understand, because the reason why tutorials are online, they are not going to be removed after 2 days, is because we want you to watch and learn. So sorry the tutorial didn't come online yesterday, it's coming up today. I'm very sorry about that, but trust me, the plan is to be dropping you tutorials every Wednesday. So drop your like, drop your comment, please subscribe to my channel to help me grow, because see these tutorials I'm doing, I'm taking my time to just see if I can sit and produce something for you. So I just hope you see it that way too and subscribe and help me grow. Thank you very much. Your comments will help, your subscription will help, everything that you do to make me grow. I am going to be telling you that I'm grateful, very, very grateful. So, see you in my next week tutorial.